Imagine the deafening roar of a stadium crowd, the blinding glare of studio lights, and a shower of golden confetti falling on a seemingly ordinary person whose life has just completely transformed. Every single week, reality television networks broadcast these exact emotional miracles into the living rooms of millions of Americans. We are deeply conditioned to believe in the ultimate underdog story, where a shy, entirely undiscovered talent steps out of the shadows, overcomes their paralyzing anxiety, and rightfully claims their place in the world. But in the highly lucrative, tightly controlled corporate landscape of broadcast entertainment, these miraculous discoveries are rarely spontaneous. They are often meticulously engineered illusions, designed by billionaire executives to manipulate your emotions and maximize advertising revenue. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on one of the most perfectly executed deceptions in recent television history. We are investigating the explosive truth behind Veronika Goroshkova's viral golden buzzer moment on America's Got Talent. What was packaged, heavily promoted, and sold to the public as the tear-jerking debut of a hopeful amateur was actually a calculated corporate smokescreen designed to hide a massive Las Vegas secret. We are going to expose the hidden reality of her world-class professional past, the deep psychology behind network manipulation, and how a brilliant independent artist was unfairly left to face the wrath of a betrayed audience. Get ready to discover the untold truth of the reality television machine, and why the most spectacular performance always happens inside the editing room. To truly comprehend the massive scale of this televised deception, we have to look at how meticulously the network producers set the stage before Veronika even executed a single move. In the reality television industry, the narrative framing is just as important, if not more important, than the actual talent on display. When she first walked onto the stage to face the intimidating panel of celebrity judges, the cinematography and audio production were working in perfect harmony to establish an aura of quiet vulnerability. The cameras lingered on her unassuming posture, highlighting a sense of nervous anticipation that immediately endeared her to the audience. The producers deliberately chose interview clips that painted her as a modest hopeful, someone standing on the precipice of a life-changing opportunity that she desperately needed. The judges played their roles to absolute perfection, offering encouraging but skeptical glances, clearly preparing the millions of viewers at home for a routine that might be good, but not necessarily world-class. This psychological setup is an industry standard known as the underdog juxtaposition. By intentionally lowering the collective expectations of the auditorium, the network ensured that any display of elite physical competence would feel like a historic, spontaneous breakthrough. They were laying the groundwork for a television miracle, fully aware that the narrative they were selling was a complete fabrication from the very beginning. The moment the broadcast concluded, the digital explosion was absolutely unprecedented. The footage of Veronika's gravity-defying, visually stunning aerial routine hit the internet like a tidal wave, shattering engagement records across every major social media platform. Within just a few days, the audition had accumulated tens of millions of views, dominating trending algorithms on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. The mainstream media apparatus completely absorbed the network's framing without conducting a single shred of independent verification, celebrating her across morning talk shows as a diamond in the rough. She became an overnight sensation, a symbol of pure, unadulterated talent rising to the top through sheer willpower. Fans were fiercely protective of this newly discovered star, flooding comment sections with emotional testaments to how her performance had moved them to tears. Sofia Vergara striking the golden buzzer was universally hailed as one of the greatest, most deserved moments in the history of the franchise. The network executives had successfully secured their massive viral moment, reaping the immense financial rewards of a perfectly executed broadcast. But holding onto a corporate secret in the modern digital age is virtually impossible, And the very same internet infrastructure that made her a global phenomenon was about to brutally dismantle the entire illusion. As the promotional hype reached a fever pitch and the video circulated endlessly, the sheer volume of public attention began to attract the intense scrutiny of digital investigators, industry professionals, and highly observant viewers. When people began to analyze the audition footage outside the emotional context of the live broadcast, significant and glaring inconsistencies began to emerge. The television producers had successfully sold the story of a hopeful amateur, but the technical execution of the physical performance told a drastically different story. Sharp-eyed acrobats and theatrical experts began pointing out that her stage presence was incredibly refined, displaying a level of spatial awareness that takes decades to develop. The way she intuitively commanded the dangerous aerial apparatus, utilized the absolute maximum height of the stage, and executed highly specific, death-defying movements with flawless muscle memory were the unmistakable hallmarks of a seasoned veteran. Her physical control, anatomical precision, and complete lack of hesitation were simply too advanced for someone who had allegedly been waiting on the margins of the industry for a lucky break. The stark juxtaposition between the modest pre-interview and the hyper-aggressive, flawless physical execution began to look less like a spontaneous miracle and more like a carefully rehearsed, heavily polished theatrical routine. The cracks in the narrative were widening, and the internet was rapidly closing in on the truth. The definitive collapse of the network's carefully constructed narrative occurred when independent researchers bypassed the broadcast edit and uncovered a massive, undeniable digital footprint hidden deep within the neon landscape of the Las Vegas Strip. The Bombshell discovery, which completely shattered the foundation of the America's Got Talent broadcast, confirmed that Veronika Goroshkova was not, in any capacity, an undiscovered or inexperienced amateur. Prior to her supposedly miraculous television debut, she was already operating at the absolute highest, most elite echelon of live entertainment on the planet. The reality that the network had deliberately obscured was that she was a professional, heavily featured performer in Mad Apple. For those outside the industry, Mad Apple is a critically acclaimed, high-octane, multi-million-dollar production by Cirque Du Soleil, located in the heart of Las Vegas at the New York Hotel and Casino. The shy, untrained amateur narrative manufactured by the American television producers was completely and unequivocally destroyed. The revelation that the network had actively recruited a highly trained, seasoned international Las Vegas headliner and repackaged her as an insecure local underdog represented a massive, unforgivable breach of trust with the viewing public. This was not a minor omission of background facts. It was a deliberate, calculated erasure of a world-class athlete's entire professional history in order to manipulate the emotional response of the voting audience. To truly understand the immense gravity of this hidden truth, we must establish exactly what it means to be a featured performer in a Las Vegas Cirque Du Soleil production. This is not a local theater gig or a casual weekend performance. This is the absolute pinnacle of acrobatic, athletic, and theatrical achievement in human history. You do not simply walk into an audition for Cirque Du Soleil on a whim and hope for the best. Securing a role in a flagship Las Vegas show requires decades of brutal, unrelenting, bone-crushing physical training that pushes the human body to its absolute breaking point. It requires a world-class athletic pedigree, often pulling performers directly from Olympic gymnastics teams or generational circus families, with centuries of accumulated expertise. The level of professional discipline required to execute death-defying stunts 10 times a week, month after month, without a single margin for error, is something that the average television viewer cannot even begin to comprehend. By the time Veronika stepped onto the America's Got Talent stage, she had already conquered the entertainment mountain. She had reached the very top of the live performance food chain, commanding respect from the greatest athletes and artists in the world. Knowing this incredible pedigree makes the network's decision to hide her achievements not just deceptive, but deeply insulting to the dedication required to master her craft. This massive revelation forces us to ask a deeply uncomfortable question regarding the ethics of broadcast media. Why would a television network deliberately erase the elite credentials of a world-class athlete? The answer lies in the deeply calculated, highly cynical psychology of reality television. The billionaire producers who run these networks operate on a very strict, data-driven business model. They know exactly what the American public will vote for, and more importantly, what they will share on social media to drive up advertising revenue. They understand that a seasoned professional effortlessly executing their daily job does not generate the same emotional engagement as a struggling underdog. If the audience knows a performer is already successful, highly paid, and recognized in their field, the emotional stakes of the competition completely vanish. There is no nail-biting tension, and there is no tear-jerking realization of a dream coming true, because the dream has already been achieved. By stripping away Veronika's professional history in Mad Apple, the producers essentially demoted her from a Cirque Du Soleil elite to a relatable amateur. They did this solely because a Cinderella narrative is exponentially more profitable. They traded the truth of her incredible lifelong dedication for a cheap, easily digestible television trope, proving that the industry views authentic human experiences as nothing more than raw material to be molded for ratings. When the unassailable proof of her extensive Las Vegas career finally saturated social media, the public reaction was incredibly severe and brutally unforgiving. Realizing they had been subjected to a highly orchestrated emotional manipulation, the audience responded with a profound, overwhelming sense of betrayal. The massive wave of support that had characterized the initial viral explosion quickly mutated into intense, concentrated hostility. Viewers flooded internet forums, Reddit threads, and official network pages with accusations that the entire competition was a rigged, fraudulent enterprise. Angry fans aggressively demanded that she be formally disqualified, claiming she had maliciously deceived the audience and stolen an opportunity from a genuine amateur who actually needed the exposure. However, the heavy, crushing weight of this manufactured television scandal was placed entirely on the shoulders of the performer, while the corporate entities responsible for the deception remained perfectly insulated. The public outrage was entirely misdirected. Placing the blame on Veronika completely ignores the immense power disparity inherent in reality television production. Network executives deploy aggressive, ironclad non-disclosure agreements that legally bind contestants to adhere to the narrative parameters established by the producers. Veronika simply did exactly what the billionaire executives instructed her to do, and when the illusion inevitably cracked under public scrutiny, the network quietly retreated into corporate silence, leaving a brilliant artist to absorb the devastating impact of global public anger. Beyond the unfair treatment of the artist, this specific scandal exposed a massive, structural contradiction that lies at the very foundation of the America's Got Talent franchise. We must critically analyze the ultimate prize offered by the competition, which is heavily advertised as $1 million in a prestigious headline show in Las Vegas. The entire premise of the show is built on discovering unknown talent and elevating them to the status of a Las Vegas headliner. But if the television network is actively recruiting performers who are already headlining major, multi-million-dollar Las Vegas productions for Cirque Du Soleil, the entire core concept of the competition completely collapses. It stops being a genuine talent search and transforms into something far more cynical. It becomes a glorified, highly produced, multi-million-dollar marketing commercial for the Las Vegas entertainment industry, disguised as a reality show. It operates as a closed corporate loop, where the show pretends to find unknown talent to send to Vegas, while secretly pulling established talent out of Vegas just to artificially boost their television ratings. This conflict of interest bankrupts the authenticity of the entire reality television landscape, proving that the line between a talent competition and a scripted corporate advertisement has been completely erased. Despite the intense pressure of a globally publicized controversy and a vicious, misdirected public backlash, the final chapter of this story is not one of defeat, but of absolute, undeniable resilience. Veronika Goroshkova's golden buzzer moment, regardless of how the television producers chose to package it, remains a masterclass in physical performance and artistic dedication. She weathered the storm of public betrayal and tabloid scrutiny by refusing to let a manufactured corporate scandal define her legacy. Instead of bowing to the toxic parameters of the reality television machine, she remained fiercely dedicated to her craft, proving that true talent can survive even the most hostile and manipulative media environments. Her ability to execute at the highest level of Cirque Du Soleil is a testament to her lifelong dedication, something that no editing room can ever truly fake. The story of her audition serves as a dark, permanent reminder to audiences everywhere. We must learn to separate the brilliance of the independent performer from the calculated manipulation of the television production. The next time you witness a miraculous, seemingly perfect underdog moment on your screen, complete with weeping judges and falling golden confetti, remember the secret of Mad Apple. Remember that in the lucrative world of reality television, the most incredible performance is almost always the lie the producers are telling you.